I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. land. And we don't need to do the things we don't want to do. Baby, while we're young,
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Intel presents TEC Challenger Series powered by Cosmic Byte. I'm Leg Day, joined by the wonderful Kremer, and we are getting into the final days now, my friend. There are 4 teams left from both South and Southeast Asia battling out for over $20,000 worth of prizing.
Honestly, yeah, I can't wait to get into it. And what a game to start. I mean, we've got Global Esports versus FALLEN5. Global Esports, one of the favourites in this whole tournament, locked into the lower bracket now, fighting for survival against FALLEN5, a team who, by all surprises, managed to get here, upsetting Morph Impact, a game which they had no business in winning. And then before that, a great game against FS Esports. So we really do have some clash of paths here. I really can't wait to get started.
That's not all we've got up for you. Coming in the next couple of hours, we've got ourselves a well-stacked day. So let's have a quick look at where we're going to be heading with our 4 teams that do remain. We've got ourselves the lower bracket matchup first. Global Esports and FALLEN5 are both fighting to avoid elimination here at the TEC Challenger Series. And then we've got Action PH going up against Alter Ego, where our SEA Titans clash.
Yeah, exactly. The winner of this Alter Ego and Action PH game will be advancing to the finals. They desperately need this for peace of mind. They get that 1-day respite where they can just rest, recuperate, recover before the grand finals, and you want as little data on you as possible going into the grand finals, because I can guarantee you, Harry, every single team is going to be watching each other like hawks.
Eagles in the case of FALLEN5.
Oh, Eagles in the case.
From there, like, bird puns are already starting off and making the audience hate us. In
Hi,
terms
guys.
of the distribution of these finalists as well, it's very interesting that we have 3 SEA teams and 1 South Asian team. Because coming into this, I thought that Enigma might end up going a little bit further, but yesterday was very interesting in that we got to see Global Esports taking out one of their big regional rivals. In fact, Global Esports have been slaying a lot of South Asian teams in their run through the lower bracket. I don't think anyone expected for Global Esports to fall down to the lower bracket that early, but they didn't find too many problems against both Team Exploit and Enigma Gaming.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's just because they had some very, very solid games. I mean, of course, he's the sort of star player. He's the playboy of the team, the one you need to watch out for. SK Rossi, he has had some very, very good performances leading up to these final matches. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can deliver today. Now, we talk about standout matches. Yesterday against Morph Impact, FALLEN5, they had to rely fairly heavily on Asus, who played out of his mind on the duelists. If he can mimic that today, then Global Esports could have a big, big problem on their hands.
I think that Aziz is definitely going to be one to watch out for, and you'll see exactly why. As we go to our MVP standings, he was absent from these for a little while, Kremer, but now straight up at number 1 with an ACS of 320. And you can see from a jersey that Aziz has on there, previously of Southfield Esports, who've been doing pretty well recently among the Filipino scene and across the Southeast Asian scene as well. But when we cast them recently in local events, Kremer, Southfield Esports are one of a few teams in like the top SEA that weren't overly reliant on a giga-fragging duelist. But
which is interesting.
So how did Aziz get this good this fast?
What I quite like about it is it means that we're seeing a very different playstyle. Southfield, they liked making everyone do well, and it meant that the duelists weren't necessarily given as much space as you would be on, I don't want to say a mix, but on a new team like FALLEN5, because Aziz is that defined role as duelist. You need to remember as well, in their game against Morph Impact, they just didn't have anyone else playing with flashes. It was Aziz on the Reyna, that was it. So he was given free reign to either lurk, to entry, to just do whatever it was he feels like he wants to do. Just go do it, go kill. And Aziz, the only part that he heard was go kill. And, well, your wish is my command in that case. 320
unclear,
ACS.
massacred many.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he played out of his mind. Of course, we look over to third place. We've got SK Rossi, who, let's be honest, 250 ACS really ain't bad, if we're honest, Harry.
Yeah, 250 ACS, definitely not bad. And any of you who know about Indian Valorant probably know about SK Rossi, the most
Yeah,
individually famous and lauded player, probably has come out of
yeah,
the entirety of South Asia. But then we've got Georgie slipping in the middle there on Action
yeah.
PH, also known as Jet Only in the lobby when you see Action PH play later. And they are a very interesting duelist in their own right. Unfortunately for Raw Fuel, well, they may have been able to make their way into our MVP running. Their team is no longer in the running for the big cash prizes, and that's kind of
Yeah.
SK Rossi's fault. After their
Yeah.
clash previously, Global Esports did put Enigma into the grave.
What was interesting actually in the game against in the game against Enigma Gaming, it wasn't actually SK Rossi who did the legwork. It was
Mm.
Skills on the Astra who did the most damage, and of course a positive KD of 16. That's pretty bloody good. And he just played well. Here's the thing, there's no flashy players from him. We never saw him kind of burst out at these flashy 1v3s, 1v4s, 1v5s. It was just every round he was consistently killing one or two players, and that's all you need from an Astra, just consistency. And it meant that no matter what engagement Enigma went into, Global Esports always had the upper hand.
And I think the consistency might be a really interesting
Mm,
choke point to really look at in this matchup, Kramer, because we do have these two hyper duelists, right? But sometimes hyper duelists and their results can be very
mm,
hard to replicate, especially
yeah.
as teams get deeper into a series and begin to try and figure out counter strats. Where does this guy like to cloudburst an entry, especially if they're on the jet?
Mm.
Where do they like to Leah if they're on the Reyna, which obviously are likely the two most popular of these incoming duelists, as well as
Yeah.
Varese occasionally. And let's have a quick look at Global Esports, see who's going to be trying to patch up any gaps that might be occurring, as SK Rossi is going to get continually checked, and checked again.
Of course, this is a star-studded lineup, isn't it? Skills, Kappa, Hellranger, SK Rossi, and Lightning Fast. I would be pretty scared if I was Fallen5. I won't lie to you, Harry. I would be pretty scared.
I'd be pretty scared as well. Global Esports, like, not only do they have huge amount of skill on the battlefield of Valorant, but also this is an almost nationally beloved team in
Yeah.
India and in a lot of South Asia. There is so much momentum behind these guys, and honestly, Global Esports are going to be hungry for a couple of wins to really feed them a little bit of energy heading into 2022 when we're going to be seeing the VCT become more granular when it comes to these
Yeah.
regionalized series. Global Esports are really going to want to come out and dominate not only India and South Asia, but the entirety of the APAC region. And I've been led to believe that this team has the gumption to make that happen.
Something I want to highlight as well is when you have two duelists who know each other very, very well, and you have teams that are in this at the stages where they're established enough to be able to anti-strat one another, you start seeing what I like to be dubbed, and I think it's been dubbed by Shaq quite a bit as well, the lurking duelist, right? As it works particularly well on Reyna. To be able to just send a Reyna into the back line, let her do her thing. If she kills everyone, awesome, you just go to the other bomb site. If it doesn't work, then no worries. You've still got enough for an execution when you move into that next site.
Well, let's talk about our Filipino side who are going to be going up against Global Esports. Here's Fallen5. And one of the most
Yeah,
interesting things about this team, Kramer, is actually how they got here in the
yeah,
Southeast Asia qualifier. They took out Boom Esports, who recently have been on an
that's
absolute
impressive.
tear in local tournaments. We thought they looked basically unstoppable, including taking down Aziz's former team, Southbill Esports, who were considered one of the powerhouses of the Philippines in their own right. So Fallen
Yeah,
5 claiming that scalp coming into this tournament was a huge confidence boost.
yeah, you're absolutely right. It is impressive that they were able to not only topple Boom, but to then go this deep into the event. It makes you wonder how far would a Boom got? That's what we can say is how far Fallen 5 have got, and that is very far. And they kind of stare down Global Esports with that kind of youthful vigor. Like, okay, we know you're Titans, but I'm happy for a David Goliath story here. And something we do need to highlight, though, on topic of David Goliath, is this isn't playing the first map.
Which is very interesting because
Yes.
was the key to victory. You saw here ACS 320, the top of our MVP tables, which are mostly calculated by the ACS. But to a degree here, Kremer, when it comes to Fallen
Yeah.
5, there's a term when it comes to some of these tournaments, which is playing with house money. And that's what Fallen 5 have already exceeded expectations that are on their backs. And anything they get from now is a little bit of a bonus. Let's have a look at a head-to-head between our two teams to see which of our two players will need to be competing directly.
Right, so we've got Lightning Fast and Kakarot, which is interesting because they do play different roles. Kakarot has been on especially when we see a double duelist, Kakarot is there alongside AZ's doing heavy work. However, we do have Lightning Fast, who's usually on the Viper, on the Cypher, playing more info-based roles. So I'm really interested to see if Kakarot can actually beat Lightning Fast in this. And it's interesting as well, if in the head-to-head, one of your Sentinels is doing better than your opposing duelist.
Might be lightning fast, but they're lurking slow, Kremer. And I like this matchup for a head-to-head because Kakarot often, that secondary duelist, sometimes has to default over to things like the Sky, or they'll go towards more utility-focused kind of characters that allow for a little bit of entry. And controlling entries, obviously, is going to be where the Viper and where the Cypher get a huge amount of their frags. And it's no surprise that the Cypher has a much higher percentage of headshot kills than an entry player would, because the entry player has to check so many different angles, providing that they're not smoked off or partitioned by something like a toxic screen, whereas the pre-aim for a Sentinel player is going to be a lot cleaner as you look at the main thoroughfare where you expect to see enemies.
You're absolutely right. And as you just saw down below, you can see on that QR code, get yourself a free Red Bull. Everyone loves Red Bull, Harry. Do you
I
love
would
Red Bull?
really
I love
like
it.
one of those.
I'm armed with a Red Bull at the moment, so we really are going through this. So, of course, made the whole thing possible. So many thanks to them, Harry. This is going to be interesting. Before we get in, you got a prediction for me?
I feel like I don't know what's happening. With us there's the potential, of course, that there might have been some logistical problems over in Southeast Asia. The heart of both myself, Kramer, and everyone here at the Esports Club goes out to those suffering at the moment at the hands of recent natural disasters. We wish you all the safety and love in the world while we continue to play a little bit of Valorant over here. Here is our map pool, Kramer. We're going to be starting off easy breezy.
What's interesting is Breeze is a map that hasn't really been played by Global Esports. They'll go to it, they're not allergic to it, like Fracture, for instance. And with a 60% win rate of all time, they're really not doing too bad. But this is after a very, very big hiatus from the map. They played it a little bit a few days ago against Slot Stole and Omega, where they won 13-7. Even then, get 7 rounds against Global Esports or something that shouldn't really be happening there. So for Global Esports, it's going to be an interesting way to start your series. I think for me, we know how strong their Haven is. We've seen how strong their Haven is. If Global Esports can win, awesome. But even if they lose, if they make it close, they can carry on that momentum to Haven, where they can then really, really start firing on all cylinders and show Fallen really what it means to play against Indians.
I think our production are really onto something when they brought up Lightning Fast for our head-to-head as we head over to Breeze, because few agents will be as important as a Viper or a Cypher heading onto this map. There's a reason that Viper has basically a 100% pick rate on Breeze, and that's because she's so useful for partitioning these absolutely huge sites. And no other smoker really has that ability without expending the entirety of their utility in one barrage. And Cypher, of course, with the unlimited range of the tripwires and the unlimited visual range of the Cypher cam, they're incredibly powerful at the info gather of the long sight lines on Breeze.
What that particularly means is we're not actually seeing the duel between Kakarot and SK Rossi. We're seeing the duel between Lightning Fast and G. These Vipers are going to be instrumental to the success of either side. And what that really means for me is G, he struggled against Morph Impact. It's not that he played badly, but he didn't have any standout performances. Luckily, as a Viper, you don't need to, but Lightning Fast, over in his game against Enigma Gaming, he really really played well. We saw him dropping kills as if he was a duelist. We saw him running. We saw him entering at some points as well. Like that man, when he's confident, when he's feeling it, he is unstoppable. We don't really see that from G. We see G have to rely a little bit more on duelists. So, having seen this veto, I'm inclined to fall in favor of global esports here. I don't want to say 2-0 because I think FALLEN5 definitely have the option to upset them, but potentially 2-1.
Well, we'll have to see what's going to be the case. Let's head into our agent select to get ourselves into the nitty-gritty of these head-to-head scrum as we have a look at the holistic teams smashing up against each other. Breeze. Ooh, already a KO. Oh,
that's
you had my curiosity, sir, but now you have my attention.
That is a way to start, isn't it? And it is the thing with a KO as well. That knife is just extra info gather, particularly when you're sort of probing to closer angles on that B site. It means you can throw it in positions where you only hit the closer walls, so you know if there's a lurker. You know full well how the rotations are going to be poised because Breeze is such a big map. All you need to know is where one or two characters are, where one or two agents are, before you can then just have a very well organized attack. I really like the call onto the KO here. However, on over on FALLEN5, it's nothing out of the ordinary, standard comp. I do like the flashes on the sky though.
I was about to say, they're moving away from the lack of flashes you highlighted right at the top of our segment here, Crummy. You were talking about how it was only really Reyna flashes that were previously being used. The sky is almost ubiquitous on Breeze because of the range of the bird, the guiding light flash being so large that, yes, it does occasionally. It's less useful on the attack, you know, because you can like flash into Acer. Like, guys, I think they've got a defender on A. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
But on the defense, it's much more useful to be able to establish a presence of lurkers because Breeze, one of the defining characteristics of it is that it can be pretty hard to defend because the commute time between these sites is so long. It's a very physically large map, Kremer.
Public transportation letting us down again. But honestly, for me, I think the KO flash, it's more a flash for when you already know someone's there and you want to flash that position specifically. Whereas the sky flash is a lot more generalized because you can get a bit more height on, a bit more elevation. You can get a much wider zone. And so for me, I think that for KO, it's going to have to be on close angles, on kind of fast corners to try and swing an opponent that you already know the location of. How they're going to get the information that there's already a player there, I don't know. And I think that is where we're going to see the biggest struggle of global esports.
Yeah, information gather is going to be interesting. They're going to have to be very careful with how they invest things like 0 point with the KO to see if they want to use that to check for lurkers or something else. Of course, you guys just saw the agent select, so you don't have to look at our faces for that much longer. We should be heading into game rather shortly. Remember to grab your free Red Bull by scanning that QR code. Let's head in, Kremer. I cannot wait.
Honestly, this is going to be an absolute clash of titans, an incredible match to kickstart our last couple of games of the TEC Showdown. And well, as we get into this, there's nothing too surprising from the buys here. What is interesting though is the setup from FALLEN5 here. Every single member, bar the Cypher, set up ready to bounce on this B site. And for a moment, it looked like the Viper was going to probe for info. Instead, it's a fairly passive setup from Global Esports to start.
That will be the case for now, Kremer, but for how long already? The Owl Drone heading in on to the B site is going to confirm the presence of a Viper, and you know, oh my goodness, Kakarot. Okay, that's one good way to start it. Now it's going to be Lightning Flash, trying to cast the cross, but Blaz has already seen it, and so far from FALLEN5, it's headshots across the board. Those ghosts are bloody expensive, but they're worth the money in this case, Kremer. 4 versus 1, and only skills remain, so going to be able to maybe get the drop here onto a Cypher who has no idea about the suspected incoming, but Blaz finally sees them. And there we go. I think that was headshots across the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to start, isn't it? Not much utility gets expended. They're able to find the Viper off the back of the drone. This opening from Kakarot is just nasty. Just nasty.
Damn, man.
Yeah,
Through the
and the
smoke.
whole... Yeah, exactly. Global Esports, they just sort of collapse after that. Really, really strong angels taken from FALLEN5 there. Solid way to start your map, and more importantly, a solid way to show Global Esports that you're not going to get run over, despite the fact they're not favorites.
SK Rossi, hero by here. With the Marshal, remember, up against any unarmored opponents, that would be a one-shot, but I'm pretty sure everyone's got their full armor here. Kappa hunkers down in the corner with a shorty, ready for any uninvited guests.
These close angles are really a way to get the blood flowing, isn't it, Harry? It's all quiet for now, but it's like FALLEN5 ready to launch their attack to this Ace site. Probing for info for now, but haven't quite been able to get out into this site just yet, into the stack of global esports.
The shorty didn't fire, though. It's currently unknown. SK Rossi is going to be demanding so much attention here as the entry happens. We're looking to try and activate a G-Lurk here. It's in the corner. That's the shorty getting one. Cap won't be able to get any more than that, though, as Kakarot takes them on down, and Skills is just too wide to avoid the incoming bullets. While Hellranger might be able to exploit the toxic screen to get themselves a cheeky classic kill on a wounded opponent, SK Rossi cannot find a singular kill with this Marshal, and while it is to be expected, that is still nonetheless a little bit demoralizing for global esports.
So the highlight is that was a really well-recovered round there. FALLEN5, they run it into an absolute stack, something that could have spelt doom for a lot of other teams, something that could have been a slaughter at the hands of global esports, but they trade really effectively and use their numbers to their advantage. Solid stuff on their part. More importantly, they keep the Vandal alive, so they don't actually lose too much, with the Spectres being nulled. With that, I like how FALLEN5 are playing this, as they're not really defaulting. They're spreading out like a mob, like a gang. And as they all congregate to what looks like mid start this round, could be trying to punish the aggression of Skills.
They have their scouting parties and then they hunt in packs. A hero rifle here and there from those who fell. We'll be able to claim lives of global esports, and this is falling apart real quick. They were supposed to win this, Kremer. It was for destiny of the full buy to be able to do so, but already they're down to only 2 players, and we might already have to see a save called from global.
A very fast save call. Skills on the flank, though, could be the saving grace of global right now. They're only a single player down, and with locations known, oh, that goes out the window, doesn't it, Harry?
Potentially 1 versus 3 here. The first flash goes out, does reveal their location. They're dueling against multiple players, but they simply cannot hit Headhunter, who manages to connect the body shots down the way. And this is bad news for not only global esports, but global esports fans.
Yeah, that it is. Really, really solid showing so far from FALLEN5. And something to highlight is global esports, they try to change the tempo there. They really try to catch these players off guard, and they try to do so by just pushing everywhere. In mid, on A particularly, the B players are a bit passive as a kind of safety net. However, it doesn't matter. FALLEN5, they refuse the attackers at every single step, and now once again, as a mob pushing to A.
SK Rossi gets the first there, backed up by a Sky Flash, and now that's a full blind here for Kakarot. And it's finally going to be a delivered bunch of headshots from the Sheriff. 3 versus 2, but weirdly, this is one of the best chances that global esports have had so far. Skills all alone again, and that was to be expected on a save round. And SK Rossi's at least a little bit happy to get something off for Spectre, but this might have been a fateful investment here, Kramer, that might neuter him in the next round.
And it does. I'm interested as to how well those KO flashes worked, actually. It was a full blind onto 2 of those players in A main, as FALLEN5 maybe underestimating the KO a little bit there. And while Skills has only on 1 kill, the damage he's been able to cause from these flashes so far has been perfect. The operator comes out on Kakarot as he looks to probe, as once again, FALLEN5, they don't split up, Harry. Like a group, like a mob, once again, looking to list their way to this A site with some halls control.
The hunting pack begins to claim away space, and it's a little bit of a heavy lean towards B and mid here from global esports, which leaves both Hellranger and SK Rossi in a position where they're going to have to fight for their lives. And one of the interesting things here, Kramer, is that we asked, how is global esports going to do against a FALLEN5 that lacks Aziz? And it seems like Aziz's absence doesn't matter a huge amount right now. Yoshi prepares to bring up the door. But SK Rossi stands prepared for this. The crossing was checked there by Kakarot. The replacement duelist doing just fine with the operator. G's managed to play themselves out of their pit and take out their competition. They've got to be careful about trying to play around this Viper's pit, because That smoke will eventually dissipate, but still bursting through this wall. They're able to take down SK Rossi, but not the second. 3 versus 2 now. This is winnable off the back of Skills, certainly. That's 3 now for Skills in a 2 versus 1. Skills might have been able to capture this from the hands of Yoshi. For 1 versus 1, it's left in, and Yoshi doesn't have to worry about the resurrections, but there's no resurrections this time. Everyone falls on down. A single Vandal will be set. Oh no, the operator's found. It went all the way back there, and SK Rossi is going to enjoy that gift.
Tell you what, we've doubted KO and his flash abilities a little bit. Who needs flashes when you aim like that? What's an opener? What a way for Double Esports to put their foot down and to stop the momentum of FALLEN5 getting to the point where it's retrievable. Now, with only a few rounds in the differential, it's a very comfortable position for Global Esports where, bearing in mind, because Breeze is so attacker-sided, you only need kind of 3 or 4 rounds on your defender's side and you're set. Getting that defuse, shutting down the full buy of FALLEN5 is definitely a way to take a step in that direction.
Off the back of Skills as well. This KO paying some dividends. Had to use their ultimate in the last round, though, to try and secure it. They didn't want to deal with the abilities for Sky brings to bear. And here, the options of FALLEN5 have been limited by this Viper's Pit. Now they have to either have to split through mid to B or go to A. I've always said braving a Viper's Pit that has a 50-50 in it, and you never want to be dealing with that.
Something to highlight as well is the Hunter's Fury is still available, so they can zone this pit if they want to. However, it would require a big commitment, and for Kakarot, he's still running a big risk in pushing through it. Power Ranger, I think aware of this, is still kind of dancing around this pit, making sure he's not in the same position for too long, as it looks like FALLEN5, they've just stagnated a little bit.
Slowing the pace just a touch here. Kakarot stands on the outside of B. But they aren't really putting a huge amount of presence over towards A that would try and force out any movement. In comes the entry from Kakarot. They need to get rid of that Viper, and that's exactly what they do with the help of Yoshi on the sky. It's run and gun from Kakarot. Oh, man. They forgot to pick up the rifle, but that's okay. The operator's back in hand, and while it won't be the elevated position that they were hoping for, already Global Esports, they might believe it's too far gone. What an entry supported by that Hunter's Fury.
That is a great way to shut down your Viper's Pit as well, because a lot of Vipers, they get a little bit complacent. Once they get their pit up, once they get established, they can get a little bit comfortable. That Hunter's Fury is perfect usage of counter utility. You also saw the opposing Viper, he was lining up snake bites, ready for that execution, just to really harass Global Esports. So really strong execution, and from there on out, I mean, it was just a matter of trading. We saw some lovely shots from Kakarot there. On 1 HP, he was still able to get that kill. But Global Esports, the 3-man save means they at least have a bit of cash next round to still put up a bit of a fight.
An end-round battle here, but no one shall fall. Kremer, one of the interesting things about the execution I want to highlight is that we talked about the danger of the 50-50 in the Viper's Pit. They managed to use the Hunter's Fury to clear the right-hand side of that entryway, so they only had to check the left on the entry. Otherwise, the Viper would have been pinged. That was a great threat assessment from the side of FALLEN5 to break through what was a very dirty choke point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm really looking forward to seeing a solution, actually, from Global Esports, because FALLEN5, they're playing really fairly tight-knit. What it means, though, is that the second a player's seen, the second anyone sees a member of FALLEN5, they know that's where the execution's coming. We haven't seen any fakes from FALLEN5 either. So they are playing bread and butter Valorant right now, and it's just working for them. Their ult management isn't great, though. They've only got the knives over on Kakarot. For Kappa, one away from his Hunter's Fury. There's knives available for SK Rossi. He's probably going to pull that out this round without the investment of a rifle. And, of course, we've got that ping from Lightning Fast, which is going to be absolutely crucial to info gather on either an execution to counter it or for a retake.
One of the things I want to see here, Kremer, with this noted that they are moving as a pack, is that the second you don't see anyone on your side, I want to see a little bit more lurking, moving upwards and claiming map control for Global Esports. However, as they decide to do that, SK Rossi have the same idea as me, and Blaz decide to stay behind. A little bit of a wider spread this time around from FALLEN5. Yoshi is going to use their Tasmanian Tiger here to battle that one down, but Lightning Fast wins the duel at range. The Cypher Cage has been triggered here, and LG has to do their best to try and duel their way out of this corridor. Headhunter might be able to isolate someone in the corner, but they don't need to use the shock darts. All they need is the Vandal in their hands. Global Esports now in a 2 versus 4. And despite the best efforts of Kappa, it might not be tenable, and we might be staring at 6-1 already.
Kappa desperately trying to find this player in the smoke, but the timing just doesn't favor him. Oh, not that it matters.
Okay, that's one way to keep this together. Kappa there with a 2. Can they find a third? At range, already a couple of players have been brought down to low health. Kappa enters onto the site. They get themselves a third, a fourth maybe for Kappa. Caught with a drone in hand, but it's still fine. They'll find their fourth. And that's 2 4Ks from the side of Global Esports on both Kappa and Skills to get them their rounds. But Kremer, 4Ks for 2 players. Is this replicable for winning rounds?
That's my big question. It just may not be enough. While they are playing very bloody well, and for Kappa and Skills, those are big confidence rounds for them. It means that no matter how one-sided it may seem, you still have that element of fear in FALLEN5 that you can come back in clutch. And it means you force your opponents to play a lot more respectfully, but does that count? Is that enough, Harry? As Kakarot, he'll bring out that op, the only one in circulation at the moment. He does have the knives to back it up if necessary, while Lightning Fast and Kappa still yet to expend the Cypher Ping and the Hunter's Fury. I was full well expecting it that last round for the retake, but no, it's SK Rossi to aggress to start this.
There we go. This is the Rossi that we are expecting. A dirty shot. And now they're going up against 2 players. The cross is not watched. They were sticking themselves into that little cubby, Kremer. And Kakarot thought they were covered, but they couldn't be more wrong. Skills signed themselves a pop flash, and SK Rossi is eventually going to lose out on that, despite 2 early kills here. FALLEN5 have been able to rescue this, and it's kind of fallen apart. It's fallen to mush. It's collapsed like a souffle in a bath in the hands of Global Esports.
Yoshi just able to get away as the lurkers come. What it means as well is we're going to see the spike plant. It's down to Skills and Co to get into this retake and to try and stop FALLEN5 from getting comfortable and getting in after plant positions, which is where they really will be lethal. There's a flash available for Yoshi as well, which is something you really need to watch out for.
Another Cyber Cage also available for Blast if they want to try and lock down an entryway, and now they know where this KO is coming from at least. That might be 2 players confirmed here. I want to see Global Esports try and move a little bit faster on the side of FALLEN5. All they need to do is play the time right here. The spike begins to tick, 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 faster and faster. It is not a graceful spray from Blast, but that's all they needed because Yoshi was able to take the swing thereafter once those spreads were at their apogee and be able to claim
Absolutely
their third
perfect.
kill of the round.
I love that from FALLEN5. They were able to recover very well with that flank, and they shut down SK Rossi. They get them down to a 2-on-2. The amount of utility that was still on the Sky there, and that was still on Blast, meant that they were able to burn so much time before the retake was even attempted by Skills and Lightning Fast. What it meant is when it did finally happen, they had to push and get a kill quickly. They take the aim duel, the bait and switch is already set up. For FALLEN5, that is a well-drilled, very well-drilled after plant that works beautifully for them. We see a quick tech timeout for FALLEN5. Hopefully it doesn't mean they lose too much momentum, but for Global Esports, this could come as a breath of fresh air. It finally gives them a chance to breathe.
Getting ourselves a little bit of time here to be able to thank some of our wonderful sponsors, Intel, Cosmic Byte, and Red Bull. Thank you for supporting Valorant Esports over in South and Southeast Asia here with the Esports Club. And thank you all of you guys for watching as well. We know there are huge amounts of Indian fans in the chat who need to be sending their energy right now to Global Esports, because we need to recontextualize those 2 rounds they claimed were both off the back of Skills and Kappa going absolutely thermonuclear with 4Ks to rescue rounds that were too far gone. I think both of them were 2v4 situations.
Something to highlight as well is what that means for Global Esports is while they might be down, they're certainly not out. They're really going to be feeling the confidence. That's 3 players now we've seen some hero plays off of. While SK Rossi's push into mid didn't win them the rounds, it was enough to it was enough to destabilize FALLEN5, and it was enough to set his teammates up into another retake, something that they've proven before can be very winnable for global esports. So I'm really interested to see if there's any hope of recovery moving into the latter stages of this first half, because for global esports, 2 rounds ain't enough. They do still need more.
More needs to be done here. FALLEN5 still with the technical timeout, of course. There are likely infrastructure problems aplenty over in Southeast Asia at the moment, so we must be patient. And interestingly, we have seen kind of the augmentation of the attack from FALLEN5, where they've moved from this kind of pack dominance effect over to having a little bit more in terms of the established lurks as they realize that globally is conditioned to try and claim some map control.
We still haven't seen a Cypher there either. We're yet to see one. And while there is a Hunter's Fury still available for global esports, they've hung on to these ults for a good while now. And it's meant that the next cycle of FALLEN5 ults have just come online here.
Oh, Hellranger walks their way into the cubby here. Kakarot suspects that maybe some of this would be taken away. Hellranger actually runs it forward. I can't believe that. They had no information, really. However, they did think that they were going to be helped out by skills of this flash. When you're at this lesser bar, you do have to try and make something work. SK Rossi revealed by the recon bolt as it is sent forth from the Owl drone. And once again, they will walk this. They keep like walking this with no shields is so dangerous for SK Rossi, but will there be any rewards to the risk? Not for skills, but for SK Rossi, certainly they take out their counterbar here before being traded out by Headhunter. And everyone eventually does fall. FALLEN5 collapsing onto the site and only lose one for their troubles.
That was a very effective ult from the sky there. You're able to identify that not only is it a stack from global esports, but you see where they're stacked. They get 2 kills pretty much for free off the back of the info. You see Kakarot there. He just holds mouse 1 and hopes for the best, and that's all he has to do. With the generalized location of his opponents, you have accuracy via quantity of fire, and against unarmored opponents as well, it just tears through them. With ults still available for global esports, they still have that Hunter's Fury, which we haven't seen expended yet. And this time, we're going to see the FALLEN5 one come online very shortly. 2 for the price of 1 here.
SK Rossi waiting at the entrance to B. And already Hellranger has made their forays out here to try and collect some of that valuable information. The dog goes to the side for cage. They will see SK Rossi. So they know there's not an operator in play. If they see the Jet playing on this angle with a rifle, they don't have to worry so much about the martial operator sidelines anymore, so they might be able to reevaluate where to try and place any potential smokes from the Jet on an entry.
Okay, Rossi, just on the jump spot, hoping for info here. You see how there isn't much info gathered for global esports. That ping is going to be perfect. That dart is actually avoided by FALLEN5. This is going to be a false negative from the members of global esports, so this could be cataclysmic to their resolve.
How close they are. That's so easy for Kakarot. They catch him with the utility in hand, with the pin pull. SK Rossi tries their best. Swing around the corner. And while there may be something to stop this here from Kappa, it's going to have to be a huge amount from the fledgling Sova. Needs to do it for India, needs to do it for global esports, who cannot afford to lose more rounds on the trot. Kappa stays alive here, danger close, and FALLEN5 might not be aware that Kappa has this much in their tank. Skills has fallen down on their re-entry here, and Kakarot, as they move in, they're going to catch people with utility out once again. Kakarot has found timing after timing to keep FALLEN5 dominant.
That's perfect from FALLEN5 as well. They fall into, no matter it be a man down or man up, their method to approaching afterplants is to take 2v1s to just duel. We finally see the usage of the Hunter's Fury from Kappa, and it does what it's advertised to do. Kills 1, tags 2 others. It sets up global esports for a fairly solid retake, but it's the aggression, the unrelenting aggression of Kakarot, which just shuts them down. We still see knives available for Kakarot, who hasn't used them this game, so I'm interested to see where he chooses to position those. But with no economic problems from FALLEN5, they're very situational for the most part. With a fairly quick foray over to B, it looks like FALLEN5 are looking to really up the tempo here.
Hellranger moving nicely, but cannot beat more than a singular player. With only the Spectre in hand, they simply didn't have the damage available. The spike thrown into the Viper's pit. That's going to be in the ready hands of a Viper, but I would have liked to have seen that ultimate point go over to someone else here, Crema. However, the null command is going to be incredibly useful here for Skills to try and make sure that this is going to be a difficult site to retake. Headhunter on the lurk, catches SK Rossi for free. What a beautiful timing they found, and maybe even more here, but Skills is so solid with the Vandal. And now they've got to weigh it up. Do I use the ult here as a KO? Do I want to try and force the Viper out of this pit? A pop flash sent on in, but that's the last one they had in hand. They win out yet another fight, but just darting out of the pit. Blaz can get everything they want, and G is comfortable to just play the time. The crossfire and the spam tears down Skills and Global Esports as we head into the last round of a half, hoping for 9-3.
Just like that, Harry. Just like that, we see a dominant half from FALLEN5. Global Esports, bear in mind, they're not out. They're not down and out for the count. However, they do have the chance to recover. The option is there for the final round of this half. Can they at least make it 3? We've heard of all the curses you get in the Asian regions about score lines, but is the 10-2 curse recoverable for Global Esports? Knives are out for SK Rossi as he looks to probe into mid, hoping to catch out a lone FALLEN5 member. Fortunately, these are pack animals.
Some of our co-casters here at the Esports Club are not fans of a 9-3 curse narrative. We'll have to see if they do believe after this. There's not going to be too much gains here from the Hunter's Fury, but Kappa getting plenty of information. We'll be able to take down one, and it's going to be even up to 4 versus 4 now. They don't expect SK Rossi around the back. However, they aren't going to get many of their knives back because Skills actually got that first. A little bit of trolling on the door, just a touch of trolling. We do a little bit, Crema. And now, 4 versus 2. Global Esports, they will hate themselves if they fumble this.
They will, and the momentum-wise, they would lose the second half just straight up if they can't convert a 4-on-2. When you have the spike, you have a crossfire, and you know where your opponents are.
Oh, lightning fast. They don't want to take this fight. Just defend the spike for now. Kakarot tries their best to close the distance here, moving in through the store. They have access to the ultimate orb, but I think they've got bigger problems on their plate right now, Crema. Skills takes themselves the corner, and the second, the third in the round. Skills goes absolutely huge, and it feels like right now, SK Rossi might not be here, but Skills is.
He certainly is, and I mean, hey, here's the thing. So long as you have someone who is putting up numbers, you are gaining your team's momentum. 3 rounds, recoverable. It's not the end of the world for Global Esports. While they do have a tough journey ahead, one step at a time, Harry. One step at a time. And while there is hope for them, you need to remember, FALLEN5 right now are looking very, very strong. And if they can keep this momentum in the second half, we should see them close out the map pretty one-sided. You need to remember, this is FALLEN5's map pick. They are the ones who chose to be here. They targeted a map which Global Esports don't play to give themselves that upper hand. And while it's worked beautifully, will this success be mimicable on the remaining 2 maps?
Eternal question here. 9-3. Some say curse, some say definitely not. The door trolling does continue. No chance, mate. However, this is drawn over rotations. This is drawn over some interest towards mid. The B site is actually, in terms of active personnel, completely abandoned until the Jet manages to make their way over. But the Jet isn't the defensive powerhouse you really want here, Crema. Kakarot's going to be relying on their aim alone almost, but the second you run into that tripwire, you can just easily use the wall that was put up by your enemies to destroy them. The wall has worked against Global here, and now it's the 3 versus 5. They should get the spike plant moving on forward. Skills stands waiting in the wings. SK Rossi's returns of a battle. That's a well-placed Molotov there. Lovely stuff for Fragment tears through Kakarot. It's Vegeta's season this time, baby. And Skills can't do much in the corner. The trade is good. Yoshi trying to close the gap, but up against 2, they can only grab 1. In Global Esports, they managed to rescue what was a 3 versus 5, a beautiful pistol round.
This could be it, Harry. This could be the start. And that comes off some beautiful info gather from Global there. Once they have the knowledge that your opponents are in X position, that Viper wall it's not a wall, Harry. It is still a smoke. And bullets, they go through unperturbed. So That could be this could be the start of a comeback, Harry. And you know what? I would love a comeback story. I
You
mean,
think
a hell of a
Kramer
way
do
to start
more
the day.
damage? They're coated in poison when they get to you.
That's true. You die from sepsis if you survive.
Ooh, this is a very interesting movement here. However, the jig is up for Yoshi. And G has already been pinged. I'm afraid it's over for you, mate. Despite a nice little right click, Kakarot can grab one, but Global Esports, they are truly in control of this site. And the second that spike gets planted, FALLEN5 are going to have to figure out their options. A Sheriff in hand here for Blaz has a little bit of stopping power behind it. And Plenty has been educating SK Rossi about the error of their ways.
Last player
The Viper Wall returns upwards here. And Blaz, well, they might have been looking for headshots. All they found was pain.
Global Esports, the comeback seems very attainable now. And I'm gonna keep preaching it, Harry. I'll preach it till I'm blue in the face because FALLEN5, while they did have a dominance
Pandering to the Indian audience, Cremery.
while we do, here's the thing though. While FALLEN5 played very well on their attacking side, they did that as a group. They did that as a mob. And on your defender side, you can't stack up like that. You need to be a bit more reliant on each other individually. And that's exactly where Global Esports excel. But for FALLEN5, can they do 1v4s like that again?
Skills has earned themselves an ult, and that means that they're resurrectable. But there are plenty of corpses that are going to be littering this entryway here. Kappa moves on forward. They've managed to appropriate a Phantom for themselves. Will the resurrection be workable here is the question. It seems unlikely to be so as the timer runs out and skills will fall. SK Rossi was unable to grab that, but they'll grab more in terms of frag. When it comes to this operator, the quick scope, not conducive to a kill here, and comes down to a 2 versus 2, but re-entering onto this B site when you don't have a smoke is going to be so difficult against this operator. All SK Rossi needs to do is make sure that they don't get flanked, but it's not really presented in terms of threats. FALLEN5 both coming from classic defenders' directions. It's a good turn away from SK Rossi. That's a beautiful shot. The Symphony of Death has reached a crescendo. And 9-3 curses. I don't know.
Harry, you think this is the crescendo? The band's just warming up. And the orchestra's just tuning themselves because that was some nasty stuff from SK Rossi with that op there. Even the shots he's missing, you see how fast he's being with that. Solid positioning, and just this final kill here.
Oh, that's a dirty
to the head,
flick.
To the dome. There is no other way to put it. Kappa, he's going to be very happy that he's on SK Rossi's side because Headhunter is dead. There's no two ways about it. It's Sheriffs once again around the board for FALLEN5, which should set Global Esports up for their 7th and a step closer to an equalizer.
Oh, I love that. Triggering the trap wires with the owl drone. Oh, Headhunter! Oh, he's getting vengeance right now, SK Rossi. You want to see some one-taps, bro? You want to see some one-taps? I'll give you one-taps. Kakarot with the Ghost is going to be going up against a couple more difficult-to-defeat opponents. It won't do as well against the Shields as the Sheriff will, but Headhunters making them a little bit more vulnerable, tenderizing them, softening them up with the shot darts. And with this wall up and the Viper's Pit as well, you know what, Kramer? This isn't actually amazing for Global Esports here. They've lost out on so many players. They're losing out on even more. No, you cannot lose against the eco. The eco off the back of the Sheriffs. And you put in the Viper's Pit as well. Hellrange needs to go absolutely huge here. That's a little bit of a messy one. Down to 40 HP. A tap on the spike. That's going to be an easy kill here. Hellranger needs the ace if this is going to work out, but they cannot find it. An appropriated, looted Vandal. FALLEN5 have ecoed Global Esports, and they used their most important ultimate.
They forced some heavy commitments from Global Esports there, particularly that Viper's Pit. Really solid round, and I mean, hey, it all comes off the back of a solid shot from Headhunter. Look at that.
Sheesh.
Just domes them, doesn't he? And I mean, for Hellranger, I mean, it's a nice try, sure. Getting 2 players in the clutch. You can't expect him to do more because he will eventually just get mobbed. And, well, crowd control's great. The Viper Spit only harasses them, doesn't kill them. And with 10 rounds now secured by FALLEN5, you need to remember, that doesn't guarantee a victory. You need 13. FALLEN5 still have rounds to claim. For Global Esports, if they can recover here, they can set themselves up and pave the way to resume that comeback, especially if they can punish Kakarot for being this aggressive.
SK Rossi's operator here will not take out its former comrade. Refuses to claim the life of Hellranger. And FALLEN5 here on the defense. With their own Viper's Pit, they can really try and harass Global Esports onto the A site, because the second you confirm Viper's presence on B, if she uses that pit, it can be very difficult to try and overwhelm her unless you're all going to just dive in, but you become so vulnerable in that case.
That they are. Let's see if FALLEN5 have a trick up their sleeve, because right now B is very undefended. He does have the Viper's Pit, but he's so far back on the site. A commitment here could lead to a misplacement of it.
Oh, they might get caught moving as well. And remember, oh, bloody hell! Did you see that? Check him PC right now.
He's gone.
That was absolutely obscene. I'm not sure how I feel about this Viper's Pit. It does block off the connector to mid, but it doesn't really have any presence on the point itself. And that means that G does have a safe space to work from, but they'd be piercing out of their own smoke into the crosshairs of multiple players. So I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of this, but hey, when you're hitting flicks like you did previously, you know what? I ain't going to doubt your mate's skills. Going to grab themselves a spike plant here. SK Rossi waiting. I want that ult back, mate. It was only a lease. It was a lending. And your time is up. Global Esports grab themselves a man advantage. Viper's Pit has been forced to descend. And now Headhunter moves readily onto the site against a couple of softened up targets and one full health one. As Skills is going to be the player to try and make their way around this spike. They aren't going to last for long. Fighting at range here. Up against Kappa. But can Kappa control this for their team? The answer will be no.
Wow.
It's a touch of a sober diff here, and there should be time for a defuse.
What a retake from FALLEN5 there. And they really force Global Esports to fight their duels as 1v1s. Usually when you see teams in clutches like this is something that FALLEN5 particularly did well, is to take a 2 versus 1 with each player rather than rely on one person to carry the burden. In this case, Global Esports, they just have to take 1v1s. They're caught out, they lose the aim duels, and like that, FALLEN5, they go 11-6 up. Things are going to start to get a bit hairy for Global Esports. 6 rounds. Is that enough to carry your momentum over to your next map? I don't know about that, Harry.
SK Rossi gifted over with the knives here. It's an eco round for them, but they have, of course, invested in the full armor to make sure that any duels and battles are equal footing when it comes to health. Hellranger hugs the walls as best they can. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. It's aimed a little bit low, though. Still will do plenty of damage to the sky, and while it will not get the killing blow, it's softened them up for SK Rossi to get themselves the entry. They've fallen for their efforts, but that's all you need to do is the jet. You've secured the site. An attempt to stop the spike plant here. But Headhunter isn't hitting any of those. It's just going to be energy tendrils racked into the void. Skills will reset on their generation of the spike plant. And they have been forced to take a little bit of damage here off the back of a shock darts, but they aren't too worried now that they've got a post-plant situation to work with.
Skills. He has to be very effective with these flashes. Low HP on so many members right now. Lightning fast. The first man in the bait and switch, though, to try and help.
Oh, Skills has fallen lightning fast. That's one. Anything more than this can I ask for? The Guardian simply isn't the weapon for the job, Cremo. Headhunter picks up 3 despite not a single hit from that Hunter's Fury, but he never even needed it. It was all about the defensive gunplay, and that's match point now for FALLEN5.
You need to remember as well that for Global Esports, they heavily invested into this round. They wanted to keep FALLEN5 off of this match point. They tried so hard to keep him off match point. However, with such a big investment, what it means now is that they're on the precipice of going down to Sheros when they're trying to fight for their survival in the opening map. So, big worry, warning signs coming out from Global Esports. Luckily, they should be able to scrape a buy of some form as they prepare their assault to B. They do have rifles to play with, but the utility may be limited.
Kakarot here can't get away. They don't have the tailwind, but it doesn't matter because straight up, that's going to be a taking out of SK Rossi. That's still your operator, mate, and I'm still going to be using it for the good. Will they check in the corner here? Hellranger's noted by one. Will there be a second who wins the gunfight? No! Hellranger in the 1 versus 2 comes up trumps, and Kakarot cannot readjust fast enough here. The Guardian gets the better of them, and Blaz has been brought down low by simple spam through the Viper's wall. Hellranger is allowed to finish off a snack that was so dutifully chewed up by Mother Bird.
I tell you what, when Global Esports have got their backs against the wall, they really look strong. Like, they go for just complete execution, no ults required, just a single Viper's wall. They rely on their flashes, on their aim duels, and the KO flashes have been solid throughout this game, and they're just able to push ahead, win those aim duels, take that site, more importantly get a spike plant, which will help them economically, because even though they've won the round, Gil's Hellranger still buying down to 0 here, as they get ready to fight for what could be their attempt at a recovery of the half. I don't want to say comeback, but a recovery could be good. There's a Viper's Pit available as well against the single Cypher Pig over on FALLEN5.
Last being caught there meant that instantly their tripwire was disabled and visible as well, so it could be easily removed. Gee, though. Look at the range on this lurk. This is ambitious, and we've seen Global Esports be flummoxed by these ecos before. No, it's a laboured attempt with the Marshall, I'll admit. However, I think Blaz has been able to remain here. Surely you can't get two. The neural theft as well. SK Rossi brings the biggest gun to the table. Nah, mate, you ain't winning against this with a sheriff. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's got a long barrel to play with. SK Rossi swaps over weapons now onto the Phantom, thinking it's a little bit better from these dogfights in the midst of the sights. And while Kakarot gets a refresh on the knives, will it be enough? It might be! Kakarot! Could they do it by themselves? They still have players to come and back them up if need be, and they'd have to dive deep into a Viper's Pit, but the spike hasn't been planted just yet. It's still on the outside of the pit, and this could be a critical.
Oh no!
You have to venture out. You have to grab the spike, Kakarot. This has been a huge blade storm thus far, and they just keep doing the damage, but they keep dishing it out in time. FALLEN5 get a little bit of an upset on our first map and go up 1-0, and you can see he is absolutely chuffed, mate.
I mean, for good reason. What a game that was by FALLEN5. What a way to make a statement to Global Esports that, yeah, you don't play Breeze. We're happy to take you there. We're happy to show you exactly how you play it. And I mean, that was a solid round from Kakarot. He was consistent all game, but he wasn't standout performance good up until that Blade Storm. What a round from Kakarot, and what a way to decimate Global Esports.
And this was the question we had coming in, right? Is a post-Aziz FALLEN5 going to be able to hold a candle to a team like Global Esports, with this kind of reputation, with this kind of fan base, with this kind of powerhouse roster? Seems the answer is yes, Kramer.
That it is. An incredible performance on their part. And honestly, Harry, if that's how FALLEN5 look to start our series, my question now is, how do Global Esports recover, and can they recover?
Well, it's going to have to be Haven to do so, Kramer, and admittedly, it's a very different map. It is also incredibly large, just like Breeze. There are huge commute times involved if you can try and hit the opposite sites to one where you stack, but we haven't seen a huge amount of fakery and duplicity so far. Deception's been low on the priority list for both of these teams, and when it comes to the gunfights, like, you can't deny that Global Esports lost rounds where they had both operators and Viper's Pits against ecos. And I think they're going to be very happy that they're not going to be forced into a meta of playing Viper on Haven, because Viper's a very rare pick on Haven. And at the moment, the Viper's Pit usage from GE leaves a little bit to be desired.
You're absolutely right. It hasn't been great. We're going to be back after this brief little break, though, to see who is going to emerge victorious on Haven. I'm honestly really interested to see who's able to outperform this side, because SK Rossi, he's had some good rounds, but he's not been perfect, Harry.
Yeah, we've got ourselves our Red Bull code down below that you can scan to get yourself a free Red Bull in our break. Trust me, it's going to be a long day here at the Esports Club Challenger Series. We got yourselves a couple of highlights to be able to watch while we go that way as well, because Oh, Kremer, there were plenty of them to go through, and Kakarot definitely established a place in my heart as the duelist who came in when Aziz was not here.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that put a bit of pressure onto Kakarot. So no Aziz isn't here. You've sort of got that pressure, that added pressure to know the responsibility of Duelist is all on you. You've got to deliver. I'll tell you what, he's able to do just that. What a game from Kakarot, honestly. And here's the thing, is actually, in these highlights, bar what will be that round at the end, he's not been particularly outlierish. He's just been consistent. And consistency is everything, Harry.
Consistency is everything. I think that's one of the main sort of problems that SK Rossi has faced over their career. Like, they have absolutely galactic tier highs. Like, they can absolutely take over an entire tournament at points, but sometimes SK Rossi just has a couple of dud games. Like, it was surprising to a lot of people, I think, that Global Esports fell down as fast as they did into the losers bracket. Like, they didn't win their first winners bracket match, and Global Esports were one of the favorites of this entire tournament, and they've been on a real tear through the lower bracket. They've been taking out a load of their South Asian compatriots to get to this point, but we need to see a little bit more consistency from this roster. It's like, you can't be dropping 2 Sheriff Ecos when you're using Viper's Pit. Like, there's no excuse for it.
You're absolutely right. However, you can sort of lean on to unfamiliarity with the map. Bear in mind that this is the least played map of Global Esports. Yes, it's not a great excuse, but it is something they can cling to. Now, we move to Haven. We've seen that the players of Global, they have been hitting shots. Lightning Fast and SK Rossi have been killing. Question is, now they go to a map they're comfortable on, can they at least recover what has been a fairly disappointing start to a series from them?
Well, at least we'll be able to see more jet battles. That much I am assured of.
That's true. Those are great.
Haven has seemingly always been a battle for dominant jets, especially with all 3 of the sites having great setups for operators. You can play on top of the big block on B. Of course, you've got the long sight lines down both A long and C long to try and exploit. What I'm wondering, though, is when we're going to finally start seeing things like Killjoys. I think that over in Southeast and South Asia, Killjoy is still pretty much in vogue. Cypher can be used on Haven, but can be a little bit rarer to see.
You're absolutely right. Harry, I'll put you on the spot a bit here. You got a prediction for how the rest of the series is going to pan out?
I mean, I think it all depends on how GE Esports use our break. Because losing to that, I keep bringing it up because it's just such a destabilizing influence to lose to that eco, not only twice, but to lose to that eco is the final round of Breeze as well, when by all metrics you should have been so statistically favored to win that battle. You've got to just reconcile with the fact that Kakarot just basically one-tapped your entire team, and you need to really hype up Rossi to feel confident that they are the better duelist of the pair.
No, you're absolutely right. Duelists are only as good as their confidence allows them to be. And for SK Rossi, he really needs to make sure he's not shaken, he's not destabilized from this early defeat on Breeze. For me, I'm going to stick to my prediction, actually. I still think a 2-1 to Global Esports. I think they recover it. Granted,
you think that on the more practiced maps, they're going to be a little bit better?
Yes, categorically. I think familiarity with maps is something that cannot be overstated. It's so important, and we see that here.
Up against the young roster, right? Like 4-5
exactly.
Is what, like one tournament old?
This, bear in mind, FALLEN5, this is their comfortable map. We just saw how good they can be on it. So now we move to the comfortable map of Global. What do they now do? What do they do on Haven? Bear in mind, they play Ascent a lot as well. So while Haven may be a little bit one-sided, I think Ascent is going to be an absolute slugfest.
I think that you can't underestimate the pressure on Global Esports here as well, to not only not lose in this tournament that's got a huge South Asian fan base, but to not lose to a very unknown team. FALLEN5 are essentially on their alpha run right now. They are in alpha. They haven't reached beta yet, and you don't want one of India's premier teams to be falling down to that kind of like caliber of competition.
No, you're absolutely right. Harry, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Haven pans out. I think that for me, the Jet 1v1s are going to be the highlight of the map, probably the highlight of the series. The question becomes now, though, is can SK Rossi deliver?
SK Rossi is going to have to get a shift on. It's going to have to be next day delivery, or better yet, next map delivery. Will it be possible? You can find out in our next map after this break.
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Losers semis in full swing in South Asia's last hope of global esports are up against the wall. I'm Leg Day, joined by Kremer, and we are here at TEC Challenger Series. It's not looking great right now for global esports.
No, you're absolutely right. Something to highlight as well is they come to Haven, particularly Fallen5. They come to Haven with a loss to Morph Impact here. And that wasn't a very close loss. I mean, 13-9, it's not the end of the world. They were able to beat Enigma 13-6 earlier, but those are the only results we have from them over on Haven. Whereas we look to this roster of global esports, they have got a lot of experience here. They've got victories against Action PH. They ended up losing to Enigma previously, but even then, they have played very, very well. For me, this is going to be a much closer map. I still slightly favour global esports just because of their plethora of experience. However, we've been given a myriad of reasons to believe in Fallen5 after that schooling we saw on Breeze.
Speaking of that schooling, let's have a quick look at the stats for this. 13-7 on Breeze, and a lot of it was gained in a 9-3 beginning to, I believe, the Fallen5 offense. And then they won 2 economy rounds with just Sheriffs in the Bladestorm up against a pair of Viper's Pits. We've got the nitty-gritty of the stats ready for you guys in a tightly packaged little graphic. We'll be able to give you guys the breakdown of who did what and who is on fire as we head in towards map 2. As you can see, our MVPs were Hellranger and Kakarot.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Kakarot, he had a great game. I mean, only 290 ACS. I was expecting it to break 300, but here's the thing. For most of that game, Kakarot wasn't playing particularly badly. It's just all he was doing was being consistent. That's all you need to do. I cannot emphasize this enough, Harry. Consistency is key. And in this case, while Kakarot was able to give us that hero play at the end of the map, that felt like a kind of crescendo, a last hurrah to sort of end it, get it over and done with, get us to Haven. And for Fallen5, that kind of last push, that second wind, really was quite entertaining, and it sort of paves the way for Haven. For Hellranger, we did see a few misplaced Viper rolls, and I'm interested to see how that recovers moving to Haven, where a Viper isn't necessarily needed.
Lightning Fast is going to be my member to watch, the lowest fragging member of Global Esports in our previous game. Let's see what they're going to be picking, though. We're going to be able to head into our agent select here for Haven. I would not mind seeing a Killjoy here, but the Cypher is still viable. A Breach from Hellranger. Interesting stuff.
I quite like the Breach pick. I think that it puts a bit more pressure on your Sova to work on as if though gather, but the Breach means that your retakes particularly are going to be much stronger. You're going to be able to really zone out positions, and of course, that Rolling Thunder can just wipe sites. The sites on Haven are fairly small, fairly closed off, so well-placed Rolling Thunder can be the difference maker. For me, let's see how this is played out. The lack of Killjoy is interesting from Global Esports, but for a Cypher, that's what makes up for it. I prefer the Breach, I think, in this case, over the Astra. Or over the Killjoy,
I personally prefer the Killjoy just because you can split your attention between Garage and B on the defense very easily by putting Timmy Terror up in the corner of B, and you can physically watch Garage yourself. And Lightning Fast, our first head-to-head that we explored, Kremer, when we went into this matchup, was actually Kakarot versus Lightning Fast. We wanted to know how they'd be able to mollify on the side of Global Esports what entries were going to be brought to the table. And Lightning Fast, I don't think it's going to be controversial to say that their performance on Breeze left a little bit to be desired. Ends up with only 8 kills. And when you're a Cypher who should be able to get some free frags on entries from people who are highlighted by your tripwires where you're safely behind a toxic screen, there was not a huge amount going on. I think a bunch of their kills are probably in the pistol rounds as well. I need to see Lightning Fast doing more, considering how often they were actually... It's not that they were away from the entries, right? Like, their site was hit plenty of times. They had plenty of action. They just weren't hitting the shots.
Something to highlight as well is that we have, from the Cypher particularly, he can leave sites, go for a defense, and his utility stays active. For the Killjoy, while it's nice to have Timmy Turret there, the issue is the Killjoy still needs to be in a radius. They still need to be in the general vicinity of whatever site they've set their utility up on. Whereas the Cypher can go for a stack. What it means as well is that for Global Esports, when they're on the defensive side, when a fake is thrown, if a fake is thrown from FALLEN5, we didn't see them throw one on Breeze. They attempt one on Haven. You still have that line of the defense, particularly from the Breach. His utility very good at being kind of shot from afar. On top of the fact that you have the Cypher there as an early warning system. I'm really liking the Breach pick. I'm just a big fan of seeing Breaches in general. The Killjoy, though, the lockdown definitely can have that butterfly effect where, because it does such a good job at zoning, the Rolling Thunder, you still have to kill them. They can still shoot back. Whereas that Killjoy, it just gets them out of there.
One of the things you highlighted coming into this matchup, Krim, when we talked about ways that GE could possibly turn this around, was in the seniority and the age of the team. They've been together a lot longer than FALLEN5 have, and I think that's going to be particularly important when we look at the Astra head-to-head, because we're going to see a lot more set plays when it comes to things like a Nova Pulse and like a Gravity Well, and potentially there's been a lot more time to drill things like cheeky shock dart combos on people who've been made vulnerable by Gravity Wells on the side of GE.
No, you're absolutely right. To start, though...
Nice peek, bro!
That's a quick opening, isn't it? Global Esports, a man down to start this, with the rest of FALLEN5 kind of cued into the fact that Global are turning their attention to B here.
Oh, what beautiful reactions there. Lightning fast. This is what we wanted. For run and gun, getting the headshot. I'm actually abandoning B here. They're just going straight through to A. Is anyone going to actually move up through heaven, though? No, Blast will be left unperturbed here. Without the smokes, it may have been a little bit more difficult, but it seems like skills was surplus to requirement at this moment. Blaz considers dropping on down. It's an interesting placement for the spike, and they're not going to be able to interrupt the plant, but they will be able to at least get rid of Kappa. And now it's a 4 versus 4 as Kakarot joins people up in heaven. The drop down with the classic is not good enough anymore. Kakarot needs to descend slowly, down to 75 HP. They found a vulnerable member. Lightning fast falls on down. It's 3 kills for Kakarot, 3 kills for Hellranger, and a 1 versus 1 in all that is left. So low at the moment is Hellranger. Ghost versus Ghost, I do believe. And Kakarot finds themselves a 4th, hits themselves a headshot, and guess who has not cooled down between Breeze and Haven?
Tell you what, Harry, Kakarot, he is playing very, very well at the moment. I'm seriously impressed by this guy. We were worried about the lack of firepower past Aziz. No worries, Kakarot's got you covered. And while he hasn't been leaning to the Rainer, which is what we have seen Aziz do, his jet's been more than good enough to make up for that. Really strong stuff from him so far. If he can keep this consistency, if he can continue to be landing shots like this, then Global Esports, they need a fast recovery, and I mean fast.
Need to try and ascertain control. SK Rossi. A greedy buy here, going for a Sheriff. And that is unfortunately not an avoidance there. SK Rossi, they're considering going out of the sewers. Or rather, Kakarot's considering going out of the sewers. It's going to be Hellranger on the other side. Headhunter and G elsewhere have already done plenty. However, tapping away, not in their best interest. Kappa wins that one out with the classic itself. Kakarot can't drop this. And it's only going to be one member of the FALLEN5 who will be falling themselves. However, this was to be expected.
That it is. We have a quick cleanup. There's no kind of messing about with it. Global Esports. The plan was get the round over and done with. You've got a single sheriff, I think, was the investment for the whole team, and that doesn't work. Doesn't matter. We now see the rifle come up. It's the bonus for FALLEN5. There's no ults available yet. Kakarot one away from bringing out the knives. It would be interesting if he uses them spontaneously here, but let's see if there's going to be any resolution from Global Esports now. Bit of a default from them, listing slightly to see the Killjoy is going to be tested, as it looks like SK Ross has got a very aggressive start.
The alarm bot doesn't give over any vulnerables though. However, forward momentum will be stymied by that pair of nano swarms. But now, I want to see Global Esports play this slowly. They've opened up this site in terms of utility that's been used to defend it the first time. They can try and fake elsewhere and then come back to C after this rotation is dispersed.
Flashlight fast revealed, and with that revelation, Look at this rotation from Yoshi getting really close into this beast site, trying to dig himself in before the attack comes.
Look at this, though. Moving out is the Astra, coming through, claiming so much space. They know that it's no longer a C hit. FALLEN5 have already lost one player, but this could be completely surprising. You need to win this gunfight, and you won't. Kappa has managed to reignite the spark, the flame, to keep GE alive. And while SK Rossi's unable to do it with a lesser armament here, Blast makes it happen with the Spectre. It's going to be all out on A, and FALLEN5 have been blasted out of the site. Yoshi considers heading up high to try and make something happen, but considering how low, how bruised this Killjoy is, it's going to be so difficult, Kramer. At this point, you want to try and play for the kills anyway, unless you can loot yourself a rifle, because Global Esports, this is such an important economic linchpin round for them.
That it is. I want to highlight the aggression of that Astra. While it was good, they were able to kind of get deep into C. I don't like how they extended to peek into spawn, because Global Esports, they're going to peek spawn. They're going to clear their behinds, regardless, no matter where they rotate. So I'd have much rather them back off, embed themselves deep in C long, and use that information rather than overextending, dying, and forcing the rest of your team to aggress here, like we're seeing from Blast, like we're seeing from the Jet, just to try and make it costly for Global Esports. Yes, they lose 2 players, but they'll be more than happy with that. With the anti-eco kind of shut down, let's see how FALLEN5 now do, moving to their full investment, moving to their chance to try and put an end to Global Esports recovery.
All right, Kremer. Global Esports, they've cracked open a Red Bull. Question is...
I've already cracked mine open. I haven't needed this since the opening round, Harry. Yes. It's a full investment from either side. The ults to watch out for is Kappa, one away from that Hunter's Fury, which could be instrumental to the success of Global Esports here.
Pace on SK Rossi. Kakarot is going to be peeled for by that shock dart just to buy a little bit more space after that initial attempt at a stun. NG, at the moment, going to try their best to avoid this flashpoint. I believe they have done so far. Hell Range instantly taken on down. Initiator, not anymore, mate. And now, it's an absolute massacre of Global Esports. They are losing every single gunfight that they try to take. Kakarot is patient on the backside, and skills has been noted here by G at a massive disadvantage. The wallbang is all that's needed. And Kappa surely will be regarded at the back here. The second they turn away, Kakarot will find their man, and FALLEN5 re-ascertain control here on Haven.
It's like every time Global Esports kind of poke their head above the parapet, they win around, just whack-a-mole, straight back down FALLEN5. They regain that momentum. That peak into mid as well by, I believe it was the Cypher, shouldn't have been allowed to get away with. The fact that we saw that peak from Headhunter shutting down lightning fast was a kill he should not be getting. He's running into their crosshairs, still kills them, still backs off, and just pushes that man advantage even more so in favor of FALLEN5. A quick swing to mid to try and catch out Yoshi. However, he's going to survive for the time being as it's in the inside. Once again, got a man down.
This one might end up being a little bit tilting here for Global Esports. This is supposed to be where they have a significant advantage. And I think the attacker side of Haven slightly favored just because the defenders, with only 5 people, have to cover 3 sites, right, Kremer? So you're always going to be outnumbered by the attacking team unless you really gamble stack on a site and pick correctly.
Neutralized.
Oh, they just keep losing on A
Another
short.
shut down.
I don't know what to do about A long, Kremer. It's not even an operator that's holding it down. It's just one guy with a bow and arrow. These were phased out in the 1600s. In the 1600s, Kremer.
Harry, 1600s or not, it was around for a few thousand years. It clearly did something right. And well, you think the longbow is only good in sieges. In this case, he's more an assassin than a besieger.
It's a bow and arrow assassin. It's silent.
Whoosh and you're gone.
The best silencer you can put on a long-range weapon.
What, you should not use a long-range weapon?
Exactly. What? A longbow's fairly long range.
The clue's in the name, isn't it?
An operator, but
yeah, it's no high-fired sniper rifle. But yeah, it does all right. Global Esports, they have a lot of ults to throw at this.
It's the halberd of longbows. Oh, SK Rossi down again. Entry? What entry? I'm surprised that SK Rossi's actually moving into a position like that without someone in a position to...
One enemy
Bloody
remaining.
hell! Oh, it's headshot after headshot. Kremer, this is...
Uh-oh.
These rounds are running together real fast right now. Could I have a quick look at the IGL cam from Global Esports? Yeah, we are going to get a timeout. This needs to be a real Hell Ranger humdinger of a pep talk.
I like the fact they're calling timeout. They need to. We're seeing FALLEN5. I'm not sure if you saw that round particularly. The aggression that FALLEN5 is showing shows how comfortable they are with themselves to just push, take fights. They have it in there. They've won this game in their minds to think that, okay, we will win no matter what angel we take. Just give us a chance to fight. And they are just walking all over Global Esports. And while GE are very good when it comes to enabling SK Rossi, he's the only one, particularly on that Jets, who can shut them down. While Kappa had a great game, while Headhunter, he did all right. The issue is, you can't constantly 180 to kill the player in front of you, behind you, turn around again to kill the guy in front of you as he tries to trade on you. It's kills that you have to be getting as a team, and then use that as momentum. When you're being smothered by FALLEN5, there's only so much you can do, Harry. You can't keep losing this man advantage. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing a very fast series.
All right, Global Esports. Let's wake up. Let's get in there.
Look at the ults available as well.
It's just better timing to help SK Rossi make the entries. Like in the last series in particular, SK Rossi was at the mouth of sewers, but there were no flashes, no smokes. They managed to get an easy 1 versus 1. SK Rossi this time going down A long themselves to try and cover up what's previously been domineered by the Sova. And look at this, everyone's leaving. The fake is solid right now, even with 3 of these. Or maybe they just think, you know what, we'll give it up.
Here.
We've got ourselves the lockdown. This is an easy retake for us.
They know they've lost control of A, but they don't know how
That is
badly.
very aggressive,
That's a
Kremer.
very aggressive Rolling Thunder, and it doesn't even work.
Everyone just split up into other locations. A good avoidance there of Hunter's Fury. Headhunter is actually going to give over a touch of friendly fire twice in a row, actually. So Yoshi's been made to feel a little bit of pain here. And there it is. The Cosmic Divide will is give the Spike a little bit of safety, but Kakarot has entered the site. They managed to catch Vasova completely unawares. He can turn on a dime. It's a lazy Susan auto turret, baby. And you move into the halls of Lightning Fast. And Lightning Fast, he shall fall. Despite a plant, Global Esports still only get 1 kill.
It's a big ult dump as well. A massive spike in utility usage here. And I love the trailblazers from that Sky there. It near sights every single player who would have swung to trade. It forces them to duck into their nooks, their crannies that have been enabled from the Astral Walls, just so they can wait for it to fade out. The players who are caught out in sight, they're caught out. They fall to Kakarot, who is still playing unbelievably well. Luckily for Global Esports, the silver lining in this is you still have your Cypher Ping and your Hunter's Fury. Neither were expended in that execution, whereas FALLEN5 used everything bar the knives.
All right, an opening pick instantly refragged, but hey, that's not too bad when you've only got a Spectre to try and deal this damage with. Look at how confident G is. Look at how confident FALLEN5 are. They're just marauding up Kremer. They don't want to give a single inch of map control over to Global Esports. Every single corner they want GE to pay for in blood. G has been pinged here, but no one's going to be able to really secure that kill. Actually, it's the old trade out. Lightning Fast is able to hit one with the Sheriff, but these aren't easily recoverable rifles, and Skills has managed to make some forays into the back road, so they can catch G. This is Global Esports doing well here off the back of an eco. Finally, they're getting something out of these guns, and they've all been able to upgrade as well. This is a must-win round. It's a linchpin. If you drop this now to FALLEN5, you might not feel this kind of control for a long time.
You're absolutely right. Headhunter, he's looking to just trade out into mid. Skills, this kill is everything. Desperately needs to catch out Headhunter here.
I like that smoke. It's a good fake. They wouldn't expect that Skills would be on this side.
One enemy
There we
remaining.
go. Beautiful play from Skills. The mind games are strong, Kramer. They positioned the smoke as if they were deep on the B site. Lightning Fast are going to be able to wrap up behind Kakarot, and this is exactly what Global Esports needed. A thrifty round to give them a touch of confidence.
You're absolutely right. They finally find a way to show FALLEN5 that they can't keep going this aggressive. And for Skills, it's a solid round. Really smart play, as you mentioned, with that smoke. It kind of baits the push as well from Headhunter to try and get up close to it, so he has angles to work with once it fades. In this case, though, it's a clean, laboured but clean round from Global Esports. FALLEN5, their economy, is not going to be feeling the pressure just yet. However, SK Rossi will be, with an investment of an operator, as he currently goes 0-7, Harry.
It ain't going great. But still, every round is a new dawn, a new day, a new life to try and take away some others.
Right there.
And at the moment, it's a slow default here from Global as they try to figure out what they're up against. Already, that Tasmanian Tiger being expended is good news for Global.
It is just trying to catch out the odd player. SK Rossi. Oh, that's a clean kill.
There we go.
That's how you make it your first, right? You never forget your first, and well, the Astra's never going to forget that.
Owen has left the building. Lightning Fast. That's a great peek as well. They take down Kakarot. And Global Esports, that tactical timeout seems to have given them a little bit more vim and vigor when it comes to moving forward. Skills, good spray control there. Just turns it off for a second, goes for the adjustment and the retap. And now this is a good camp here as well from the side for SK Rossi. Should be able to easily win this, but whoa, what a swing from Yoshi. The speed on this dinosaur.
Fortunately, Harry, the dinosaurs, while ferocious, they didn't last. And in this case, a 1v4, the odds aren't exactly with Yoshi here. So much so, he may just back out and save if he hoped for a few exit kills. Bearing in mind, there is money on FALLEN5, but it's not great.
For some reason in my mind, it was like, everyone knows the dinosaurs were hunted to extinction by Indians.
A very different outcome to that story.
Alternate history with Kramer and Legday. What extinction event? Yoshi looking in the wrong direction. Hellranger gets that one for free. Hopefully, the operator has been recovered and should be handed off. Let's see that operator kill again, right, baby. There. Because the speed of the reactions on this boy, that is a yikes.
I mean, you'll think you're fairly safe in midair and fading away from the angle. But no one's safe from SK Rossi. For Yoshi, a few kills at the end, it definitely helps. But it may not be enough to truly hurt the economy. However, what it may very well do for FALLEN5 is make them disciplined. They've realized they can't keep pushing. They have to play this, have to show a bit more respect to Global Esports. We see that the op investment on Kakarot. Oh.
Op the op, baby.
You want speed, Harry? That's speed.
Miles per hour, over 9,000, baby.
Tripwire destroyed.
Lightning Fast gets rid of that Tasmanian Tiger. Look at the audacity of Headhunter here. They might catch him with a bow and arrow out. Good trigger discipline. They're going to see if there's any more. That's 1, 2, 3! Headhunter! Oh, the pikes are going to be filled this morning. That is an absolutely brutal lurk.
Oh, it's perfect, Harry. It's just what FALLEN5 need as well. They've lost a bit of momentum. Global Esports are starting to look dominant, and then they just slam their foot in the door. What a way to stop Global Esports from getting comfortable. An insane backstab there, and well for Headhunter. That's certainly a way to build up that Hunter's fury.
So happy to see that kind of trigger discipline as well.
Yeah,
real
absolutely.
presence of mind from Headhunter, allowing them to line people up, and then everyone else could take their preferential swings when the panic set in, right? Like, what, they're behind us? And then they come out of the doors as well. SK Rossi once again looking for an entry. Kakarot misses the first shot, but SK Rossi not keen to try and hunt it down. They've already expended their dash here, Kramer, so for a little bit of a disadvantage on both sides of the jets, actually. No more one-and-done shots.
Nowhere to run!
Okay, Rossi just going to have a bit of a cuddle with that Tasmanian Tiger. However, the Gather. Atmosphere expended. Didn't get much mileage here. Global Esports get ready to foray onto the safe site.
Oh,
Not again, Harry. Not again.
Surely it can't happen once again. Headhunter, the ace. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he's done it
Bow your
again.
head. Viva la
Last round in the
Philippines.
half.
Headhunter goes big.
He's back, Harry. He's back, and he's even hungrier than before. You think training discipline is good? Well, how about supremacy of aim? What a round from Headhunter. Certainly has to hunt us Fury now, that's for sure. And I'll tell you what, FALLEN5, they certainly are setting themselves up to take this series because Global Esports, they are being run into the ground.
You are worried about the Hunter's fury. I am worried about Headhunter's calmness. We are not the same.
Stay down.
That's a lovely shot from Kakarot. Once again, it's going to be a Sova advantage going the way of FALLEN5. SK Rossi is isolated at the moment. Might have to dash out, but that's a beautiful little swing right there, taking out the big boy and grabbing themselves an upgrade on the way through. Now they can try to secure the A side.
For location known of one of these players, so for Kakarot, he's going to have to just get out of there. Let's get Rusty on the closer angle. Suddenly things look a bit more recoverable for Global Esports. There is no ults available either. It's pure unadulterated aim to get you onto this site. And for Global Esports, it's pure unadulterated aim to keep Fallen back.
Kakarot might be re-smoked here later. However, SK Rossi, they've been lost randomly, just doing their... Okay, I don't know if I would have jumped out myself while concussed. Didn't allow them to use the scope on the operator. This retake is proving incredibly brutal. And FALLEN5 are going to walk away 9-3 on their defensive half. Global Esports, they are looking a touch lost.
Genuinely, FALLEN5 are looking like a well-oiled machine. Unfortunately, this machine, it deals in death than it takes lives because
It's one of the
they are...
suicide moves from Future Armor.
Yeah, exactly. It's so damn strong. And I mean, there's not much that can really be done by Global in that position. You're in your retake positions. You go a man up. It's just the trades from FALLEN5 are just perfect.
Alarm bot out.
Global Esports, the last team from South Asia in the tournament. Exploit, they're gone. FS, gone. Enigma, gone. Exploit and Enigma were personally dispatched by Global Esports. And they're going up against a horde of Southeast Asian teams. Multiple from the Philippines, one from Indonesia. Global Esports. They might be glad for a technical timeout right now as FALLEN5 will be the ones calling it, but this gives Global Esports maybe a touch of time to catch their breath, because now you're moving on to the harder side of Haven in the defense.
Yeah, this is a really difficult position for Global Esports. Here's the thing. When Global Esports are in their heyday, when they're feeling good, they win this. But are they? Are they shaken? Are they tilted? Have FALLEN5 got into their heads? Because I tell you what, Harry, if I was playing against FALLEN5 right now, there would be multiple holes in my desk and one of my monitors would be blacked out. Like, these guys, it's like a frustrating way to play against as well, because they're showing no respect to Global Esports. That is working beautifully for FALLEN5, because they are just pushing into them. They are just harassing them. What it means to Global Esports, they can't set up for executions. They have to go for aim duels. But you're going for aim duels against a team who pride themselves on their aim. SK Rossi was the X Factor. He was the one who can really deliver when it comes to these 1v1 duels. But SK Rossi, he's struggling at the moment. He's really struggling to shut down Kakarot, and it's really showing.
Maybe SK Rossi needs to upgrade his mouse with our partners at Cosmic Byte. You know? I'm not saying that it'll fix all your problems, but I'm saying there's a good chance it might.
Yeah, absolutely right.
This
round underway.
In that is such a weird decision to make there from FALLEN5 to just run the fault line, but they're not going to be punished for it here. Kakarot is now all out of utility, though. It's going to be all about the aim for the errant jet. And at this point, they might as well have bought a sheriff.
Absolutely right. Ranger just trying to work for a bit of positioning here. However, the entirety of FALLEN5 have actually turned their attention. They've set their gaze away from A and over to C. And Garage as well, if you're Blast, to try and get this info. Players have been spotted. They know the attack's coming. The question is, can they stop it?
SK Rossi instantly dispatched. Never stood a chance, and that's a full blind. That exploded right in front of Skill's face. He hasn't seen a thing for years, Crema. And everyone's going to be healed up now by the regrowth of the sky. It's looking good for FALLEN5 to try and make this work, and Hellranger never stood a chance on their rotation. 2 versus 5, 4 versus 1. Learn to count with FALLEN5.
Nice.
Tell you what, G, it wasn't pretty, but getting that final kill, it does give FALLEN5 that 10-3 lead. This is looking cataclysmic for global esports now, with a aggressive pistol round as well. That flash onto from the sky onto the remaining defenders was just perfect. Absolutely perfect. It means that for FALLEN5, they get a free kill off the back of Kakarot just winning his aim duel, and then he gets another one off the back of Skills just not seeing anything. Incredible bit of teamwork there, and the timing is impeccable. SK Rossi, the Force Spectre.
It's a big buy, and it's a big L. Instantly distracted, and then it was for second swing. Lightning Fast moves around behind them to simplify the turret, and that means it is easy for Kakarot. He's got full armor, bro. He's the protagonist. FALLEN5, 5 versus 1, 10-3, and surely it will be 11. That's going to be 4 on the round for Kakarot. And this is looking absolutely dire, cataclysmic, apocalyptic for India's last hope.
This is no longer a close game, Harry. This is now turning into domination. An absolute schooling from this side. And I'm now really worried that there's no solution for global esports to beat FALLEN5, purely because FALLEN5, they've got this confidence to them. They've got this air where they believe no matter what fight they take, they'll win it. And that can be really hard to shake if you're global esports, particularly when you're not punishing them for it. That force buy was a big risk from global esports. It didn't work out, and now they force again, Harry.
Kakarot already down low, needs to be healed on up. SK Rossi once again on the Spectre. They keep on bottoming out their economy, and Kakarot has made their way onto the site. Stunned up here means that this is going to be a less of an effective Spectre in hand. Still, it doesn't matter. The Bulldogs arrived, and Lightning Fast won't be able to get one, but is there anything more than this coming round the back? Oh,
no!
That's a big flub there from Blaz. They should have had that easily. They were running and they were gunning, and this is the kind of confidence you were talking about here, Crema. But it can come back to bite you when you're just going to run and gun against a player who has a greater weapon than you.
Yoshi, was he hurt there? I think he very well may have been.
They don't have a spike, though. So at this point...
I love this rotation.
They're going through the defender spawn. And this might completely catch Kappa off guard. And then think about how far away Hellranger is. Oh, Yoshi might be able to do it all by themselves. It's okay. It's a great adjustment from Kappa, and Global Esports will finally find themselves some purchase on a round.
Here's the thing, Harry. Are these the... is this the inkling of a comeback, or just the whispers of a death rattle? Because I don't know what Global Esports death
we see a
rattle
run and
looks
gun this egregious. Like, look at this.
I feel like Blast sees.
They don't even slow down.
Yeah, it's difficult to miss at point blank. Like, it's difficult.
On a Spectre.
Yeah, unfortunately, Blast luckily he has a turret to do it for him, right? So hopefully Timmy can pick up the slack.
Pitiful.
All right, there we go. This is what we wanted to see, right? The veterancy of a team that's been together this long, being able to work off the back of Astra utility in set places, and that's exactly what was delivered right there to give Hellranger the opening pick. G expects that Lightning Fast may be trying to lurk their way up C, and there's going to be this silent, contemptuous dance, this ballet between a pair of lurkers.
Lightning Fast win this. If he does, this could absolutely destroy FALLEN5's aggression. Unfortunately, it gives them hope instead. Yeah.
Flash out.
flash comes on through. Hellranger's easily able to dispatch that drone, and that means that they can cover their own escape now using the aftershocks. Still, they take that peek, and I'm not sure how I feel about them taking that peek, Kremer.
No, me neither.
Oh no.
God. Oh no, Harry. This is really going downhill for Global Esports now. There's a little bit of a flank kind of teased by skills, but the Killjoy positioning just ruins them now.
30
Kappa.
seconds left.
He's the only one whose location isn't known, and for FALLEN5, they've got a pretty good guess of it as they turn their attention to A.
GE getting antsy here for information. Kappa might try to and take the peek. They can't even win the first fight. GE get themselves yet another. That's 2 kills on the round for them. And now you have to beg the difficult question. Does skills try to save? G is so low, and you know what? With this many teammates here, I don't want to see the risk of fight. Instead, allow Blast to take it, and that's exactly what happens. 12-4.
Match point.
Harry, this could be one of the most one-sided games we've seen in the whole tournament. And it's in one of the final matches. See, tilt's starting to show on Kappa there. This is not looking great. It's not looking great for Global at all. However, there is still that hope that a comeback could happen. SK Rossi, he has not performed well this game. But Hellranger and Lightning Fast, they could be the ones to step it up. They could be the ones to make this all possible.
Blinded.
It's a ramshackle by Kremer. We're going to have to try and construct this win in a cave with a box of scraps and 4 ultimates. They need to start leveraging these ultimates. There are no pockets in the grave, and they are right on the edge of the grave site here in this tournament. It's going to likely be an execute onto C eventually. It's been set up, and they've dragged over some rotations here by utilizing these stars from the Astra. But it's no full commitment at the moment from FALLEN5. They're toying with their prey.
They are, and with Global Esports now fanned out around the map, desperately hoping that they're able to spot where Global Esports have stacked. Unfortunately, they've chosen to commit to C, the one position which Global Esports have fortified the most. This is make or break for Global Esports, Harry. Can they do it?
Do or die. India, so much rests on them. Down to 1 HP is SK Rossi. This could be a brutal Hunter's Fury right here. But already SK Rossi's fallen. Multiple players have been made so low, and that's going to be a body shot to finish this one out for shots. Make sure the spike will hit the ground. And now running low on time, all you might need to do is survive. Only 1 player remains, and that's Headhunter. We've seen him do massive things before. Concuss here, concuss again. Stun after stun, and a shot is delivered. Skills closes the gap, and Global Esports, they just about break the surface and take a breath.
That was an incredible Hunter's Fury from Kappa. The amount of damage he did with that, he didn't kill that much. The damage he did, 4 players tagged by it, means that the Sheriffs just look lethal against it. Even on body shots, they're tearing through FALLEN5. However, that ult's not going to be up for a while now. We look over to FALLEN5, who do have the ult advantage. 3 ults available. Blast 1 away from the lockdown. Yoshi 1 away from the Seekers. This is their setup. This is either going to be their power spike or their chance to close it out. It's Global Esports now on the true defensive in terms of momentum. They can stop this attack, then they could very well be showing FALLEN5 that they're still
why are they
in this
using
game.
this? There's no one who can follow it up, Kremer. No one's in this position.
That's bold.
That was very
That
weird.
dog's got
However,
ruined.
Hellranger might be able to do it all by themselves. They just keep on spraying. Yes, it's 2 kills for 1, but I heavily disagree with that ultimate investment. No one was there to try and get the follow-up.
Yeah, I guess the aim makes it work. The aim makes it work. For skills, a very aggressive angle mid could very well catch out G here if he's not careful.
We see the crossing, but the reactions aren't quite there. However, in the aftermath, they will find the headshot that they were looking for. And now the remnants of FALLEN5 will list their way over towards the A site, but it is going to be pretty well stacked against them 2 versus 2. He'll take that any day. SK Rossi needs to wake up in this. A 1 versus 2 is what is demanded. Can it be found, though, when you're faced with Headhunter, one of the most dangerous members? And Headhunter, oh, he's doing so well. will be put down in the grave. 1 versus 2. Yoshi, if they can win this with 7 HP, they will actually put Global Esports out of this tournament. They look for the plant. This will give them additional money. Only 1 shot is needed. It's a fully delivered blind. Yoshi, surely you can't do it alone. 1 player versus the world, and the world is simply too great a weight.
Gills, he ain't Atlas, but my god, he's taking a step in that direction. It's going to be 6 for Global Esports. Yeah, as in this case, we need to see 6 rounds on the bounce in order to secure overtime. Another 2 on the bounce if they want to close it out quickly. But FALLEN5, I don't see them taking their foot off the gas. But it may not matter if Global Esports' engine revs harder, because it was a messy round, and while Headhunter did have questionable usage of that Rolling Thunder, he still exploits FALLEN5. And look at their money, Harry. They're not in a good position now. Global Esports, they found that momentum, they found that breakpoint. They're really looking to punish it now.
Yeah, but I remember Breeze, and I remember Breeze well.
Okay.
They were slaughtered by the Sheriffs, and 3 versus 3 is already a risky proposition here, especially with that Blade Storm still in rotation. Kakarot, they are the breakpoint here, and they've already got themselves SK Rossi.
Not again.
Surely not this again. Not again. It's PTSD right now for Global Esports. It's PTSD once more. Kakarot, it's 1 versus the world. And it simply can't be done. The Headhunter's Fury catches its man, and Global Esports will crash out of our tournament.
How on earth have we seen 2 ecos now from FALLEN5 which have wiped Global Esports? What an incredible round from them. Credit where credit is due. Kakarot is something else, man. The entirety of FALLEN5 play out of their mind there. Global Esports, they just can't match it. What a game that was, Harry, and what a surprising result on Haven there. FALLEN5, they went into this as underdogs, but they have definitely shown that they are now one of the favourites to win the tournament.
FALLEN5, when we look at them in the future now, we've got to ascertain that maybe economy management isn't the most important thing for them, because I don't think they've really lost an eco round. Yeah, they just do better when they got Sheriffs in hands. They just play with no respect, and apparently no respect is where they are at their best. And as much as I hate to say it, that's even more embarrassing for GE to be taken out 2 maps by 2 ecos. And both times, Kakarot there with the Blade Storm as well. A real sense of deja vu. There's going to be some soul searching before the 2022 Valorant esports season.
You're absolutely right. We're going to take a look at the scoreboard here just to see who our MVP is. I think Kakarot, by no surprise, is going to be there. I wouldn't have minded potentially seeing the Sova as well, because they did play very damn well. ACS, though, slightly more in favour of Kakarot. He did win that with just a couple of knives. Over on Global Esports, Hellranger makes sense to me. He did play very well. He had some very great aim rounds. While there was that questionable usage of the Rolling Thunder, it still worked. You know, it still paid off. So I'm really not surprised by our MVPs here. Something I want to highlight, though, is while the Breach did well, Hellranger did well in aim. For me, the Killjoy got the better utility usage, got the better mileage from that turret than from the concussions of Hellranger.
I feel like I hate to pile onto Global a little bit more, but it didn't feel like there was an Astra diff. And considering how new a team FALLEN5 are versus Global Esports, there should have been an absolute canyon between Astra effectiveness. And we only really saw 1 real setup with the Gravity Well that ever really resulted in any kills, and that was over in A lobby.
That's actually is something to highlight, is FALLEN5, they realized that as a mix, they need to, or as a new team even, they need to find a way to overwhelm Global Esports, prevent them from getting set up, prevent them from stacking up into their executions, which is where they will win. You can't beat executions that are well-versed, practiced out, and prepared. But you can stop them from even getting to that stage with aggression, and FALLEN5, they have a chance, and my god, they had more than just a chance. So you go take a look at our highlights just to see how it was FALLEN5 were able to craft their victory throughout this game.
And there was the question, right? For the first 8 rounds, I believe SK Rossi couldn't find a frag. Eventually found one with the operator in fantastic style, but Kakarot and Headhunter really remained the show-defining headliners, right? And it seemed like so often our observers had to cut to someone coming out of Garage and just absolutely demolishing any attempts from Global Esports to make some headway.
Yeah, I think this early kind of flurry of kind of 7-8 rounds from FALLEN5, they just did deep damage to Global Esports. It wasn't just physical cuts, a psychological one as well. They were almost fearful of FALLEN5 throughout the entirety of that second half, and that was purely because of this insane start to a map that FALLEN5 were able to achieve. Now, my question for FALLEN5, as they move to play against the loser of our next match, is they're good when they're feeling good. How good can they be when they're truly tested? And for me, that's going to be at the back of my mind when we see them progress through this tournament.
Indeed, how long can the Cinderella story continue? Here's Kakarot with an interesting engagement. Admittedly, they had a somewhat weird retake on A little bit later in when they were concussed and decided to drop down with the operator and try for some hip-fire shots. I believe we are moving in towards SK Rossi potentially losing their life here and his skills. This was actually a really good bit of brain play. Like, we see these flashes of brilliance from Global Esports, but in the end, like, these flashes of brilliance are not enough to help you out when you're losing every single gun duel.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a lot needs to change for Global Esports. Particularly when it comes to dealing with aggression, because FALLEN5, they seem to have found the single like nook, single kink in the armor of Global Esports, and they're just working it to perfection.
That's Headhunter on the big lurk.
Back-to-back rounds as well.
Oh yeah, Headhunter had 2 rounds. This one was an ace as well. Just for lurks working out so well from Basova. That was a cheeky little almost collapse in the smoke. Sometimes Global just feel unlucky, but how are you going to be unlucky 13 rounds? Eventually, at some point, you've got to try and figure out where things are going wrong. And SK Rossi, unfortunately, just wasn't their day today. And sometimes players have bad games, but the unfortunate part is Global Esports didn't really have someone who could step up into those shoes.
No, you're absolutely right. With that, we're going to be seeing FALLEN5 progress through to our lower bracket finals. I'm really interested to see if they are going to progress to our grand finals. I'm kind of umming and ahhing to see how they're going to fare in against the loser of our next match between Action PH and Alter Ego. Because Action PH, you need to remember, they know this team. Action PH will know this team very bloody well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if that's going to be something that plays against them. However, Harry, our next matchup, Alter Ego versus Action PH. Now that is going to be a game.
2 rising stars of Southeast Asia. And we've talked before a little bit about how we might have expected a couple of other teams to make their way through the open qualifiers. Kingsman was in there. Bleed Esports are in there. Boom Esports, who have been domineering some of the local competitions recently. They all lost out to teams like FALLEN5, Action PH, and Alter Ego. And it could be a new generation of SEA talent. And it's all about trying to figure out where you're going to be able to locate most of the talent before that 2022 season begins in earnest.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, let's take a moment to look at the map recap. Harry, it's early in the UK, man. It is really early in the UK. So I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how bad time zones were until I started doing this job, and then I decided, how can I ruin my sleep schedule the most? I know, let's cast some Agent Valorant, and here we are. Ascent would have been interesting, I think. However, I think the same premise would have been there. Ascent is a map that really does invite aggression, particularly on A long and then again in mid. And that's something that we've seen FALLEN5 excelling. Absolutely excelling. I think that Global Esports, even if it was Ascent then Haven, we still would have seen a 2-0.
Yeah, FALLEN5 were just a little bit different today. And I would have maybe thought that Ascent could have been a lot closer if we saw some real mileage from the gravity wells on skills on the Astra, but unfortunately it was only really the one kill we saw that was directly contributed to. So I feel like it definitely would have gone the same way as Haven, given the current loadout, Crema. However, for FALLEN5, this is so emboldening. This is a team that is basically unheard of, but a massive scalp in the collection in global esports.
You're absolutely right. I'm really looking forward to this next map, to be honest. Action PH, Alter Ego, these two teams have been pretty dominant throughout this. I mean, so 2-0ing Morph Impact and then 2-0ing Enigma Gaming, both of which are pretty high feats. So we're going to be seeing a whole new class of performance from these sides. Before we go to our break, Carrie, do you want to quickly give like a preliminary prediction to this game? I know you don't like doing predictions, but I like putting you on the spot anyway.
Alter Ego, they've dropped one map. Honestly, pathetic. Not like Chad's Action
Yeah,
PH.
yeah, exactly. Why are they even here? Why they show up? You're right. With that though, we'll leave it at that. We'll let that simmer. We'll let that simmer. Action PH versus Alter Ego. We're going to be seeing them play in just a moment. Any closing thoughts, Harry?
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. And we don't need to do the things we don't wanna do. Baby, while we're young,
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.